I'm really starting to like these opening panels. The first shot after the credit sequence, particularly this look on his face. He is ready to kick your ass. All right, I've double checked that this is in English. Let's go and get into it. We're going to one. Three, two, one. You know, Spirit Detective just doesn't feel like what he is. I'll be honest with you. What has he detected so far? Like, what investigations has he done? He seems more of like a spirit enforcer. Reaper may be a good way. I think maybe that's me and being infected with Bleach. Uh, Spirit Warrior, I would go for. I kind of like Enforcer because you're kind of like enforcing the will of the whatever they call the realm where the baby is. I just maybe he'll do some detecting later in the series. But as of now, we haven't really seen him deduce or detect anything. So I don't know. You mess with me. Tomato, tomato. I don't feel like taking that right now. Can you bring it back later? Maybe I'll take it then. This is a replay, right? I remember thinking this. He's reminding me of Luffy with the gum gum, right? Pretty good stamina. Yeah, yeah, that's what you get for getting distracted. Now this is clever. This isn't deducing anything, but it is clever to go for the whistle. Oh shit! Not clever to turn your back on him. Damn it! Oh shit! Slam him against the wall. You both have a hand on it. That means that's a tie. Now you just need to break his arm. So let go of it. Yeah. Oh shit. Well, that's gonna hurt in the morning. Maybe he just wants to stop the zombie invasion. I mean, you're right, but damn, he brought scissors. He's a tool using zombie. That's not something you see every day. They got to be smart zombies to be using tools, man. Wow, I have feelings for somebody. Holy shit, that's never happened before in the history of mankind. How embarrassing. Yeah, the bird needs to go. I forgot about the bird. Yeah, you're a weak bird. You should feel bad about that. If I was a bird, I'd just leave. I was like, okay, fine. Yeah. Just one of the things that is very common in anime, they would just sit there and let somebody do a spell, right, or an attack, or summon energy, summon creatures, whatever. Something that takes 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds. They'll just stand there and let that happen. When you could just go over there and punch them in the face really hard and disrupt their flow where they can't do the thing, right? Matter of fact, I think I mentioned before in this series when that dude was doing that spell where he couldn't hear. I think that was one of the cases where we saw that happen, right? But that's a common thing in anime. I guess it's just you respect your opponents. And you want to give me your best shot, right? That ain't the way we used to fight. Yeah, we want those yummy brains. Yeah. They cry and go to the car and cry some more in the car. can't tell if they're sweating or crying. Either response would be valid, right? So I think he's just. They're not going to be able to get themselves out of it. He's going to have to take the whistle. That will be what stops the attack, right? That's what I'm thinking. For a while, it looked like they could get out of it, you know, but now they're cornered. Yeah, yeah, we know. You got to clone Jitsu. You would assume the middle one would be. By the way, I don't automatically believe what my opponent says, right? So we all are. Oh, yeah. It's almost like he just sat there and let him finish the spell, right? Meanwhile, we thought Yusuke had it, man. We're out here dealing with these idiots. They're respawning. Well, time to send another one up into the. You just yeet somebody into the window, right? Do the little guy. He's the lightest. What's interesting about this came out before Naruto, right? And these are more sophisticated clones than they had on Naruto, which is interesting. Usually you see it happen the other way around in storytelling development, right? It's like, I like what they did, but let me change it and make it better. It's almost like Naruto changed it and made it worse, right? They're shadows, you know? Not literally, but you know what I mean? It's like, inferior copies. If he's telling the truth, which he probably is. I'm just saying you shouldn't automatically assume somebody's telling the truth. Jesus. Good thing they can't see him because this would be embarrassing. Look at the bird sitting on his shoulder. The bird's really in it for the gloating, even though he insulted the bird. You're too weak to hold on to my whistle. Where do you think you're going, you little bitch? Yeah. God damn. Just a straight up fisticuff. He acts like it's an insult to care about somebody. What the hell, man? The bird's in it for the mocking, like I said. It's a mockingjay. I'm gonna sit down. Interesting. So he's got an agenda here with the like, why do you care so much, right? Shit. It's like the Cruciatus curse. Would it help if you were supporting the door from the other side? You should be leaned up against it so they can't get through, right? I think so. But then you've got the busted open window where they can reach in and grab your hair, right? So, yeah, kind of like us. This guy's really good at the emotional and mental torture, I must admit. Nah, look, they're breaking it in half. So I don't think supporting it would have helped. Well, we got windows behind us, but nothing to do but die. Because can she fly, or can she only fly when she's in her spirit form? We've seen her fly, but we haven't seen her fly lately, right? I think she has a physical form now. Yeah. See, she's flying there. Get her broom, man. I like that they personified one of these zombies, right? They made him somebody she knew, and he's talking to her because he knows her. He's accessing the information the human being had. That's the bait and switch right there. That's the bait and switch. I don't know where they are, but they're not in there. 100%. These are Tool using just zombies. I'm kind of impressed. It can't possibly be that stupid. Like they're somewhere else. Even though they showed a reaction shot. Yeah. See, he's accessing his human knowledge. This was a clever choice. Because you had to stretch the scene out, you make the zombies talk and shit, right? In backing it up, I heard dialogue I didn't hear the first time. He says, "You're damaged, and now we throw you out." That's pretty clever wordplay there. Basically, he's calling her trash. You're a mean bird. A very, very mean bird. This guy's a sadistic asshole, man. He has nothing to do but sit in his tower and think of ways to be mean to people when they show up. Which apparently doesn't happen very often because nobody gets through the other three first, right? So this may be the first time he's had a chance to play with somebody in 1,000 years. I don't know how old he is, but yep, he's lame. Yeah, that made the baby very sad. Yep, Earth is screwed. I mean, one Apache attack helicopter would wipe out the entire horde. I've talked about this before. Zombie hordes don't work against modern technology. Yeah. Stop being a negative Nancy. I don't negotiate with terrorists. You capitulating bastard. Get out of my sight. 1,000 spankings for you. Ooh, I like that shot across the zombie head. That's pretty cool. He's really in it for the whipping. Right in the face. Right in the face again. It's been a good workout, but I'm ready for a break. Maybe we can go out for some pizza. What do you think? Yeah, it's time to get lightsaber with it. He's going to use it as a pole vault. That's damn useful. Oh, right in the wall. You moron. Oh, incompetent. Why are you so bad at this? He is clawing that wall, man. Hey, man. Dude, that sucks. That sucks. They just wiped out all the zombies. That blows. Wow. Here come more in the stairs. See, my window plan was correct in the first place. I don't know. I mean, you're making progress. At least now you're in the stairs. You're not trapped outside. Yeah. Then I can play with them. Maybe they love somebody. Like, the horrible, horrible crime of feeling something for somebody. I'll torture them next. He's such a sadist. What a dick. Is that his sensei? So if she had died, he'd been that broken up about it. I guess I. Where the hell were they? That's what I was trying to figure out. Where else in the room could they be? Right? It looks like they came out from behind a curtain or something. I don't know. I guess I'd have to see the full room. We never really got a good shot of the full room. We're out of here. See, now the camera catches him. Incompetent. I re-energized. He's big bad. See, I have a finger gun too. It's just yellow, not blue. God damn, not the old bitch. That's kind of rough language, man. You're too close. Can you back the hell up? Jesus. He's supporting his entire weight on a point? That would hurt like hell. You heard me. Um, is that up his ass? It's very disturbing. No, slacking's been something I've done. Oh, you meant the okay. She's dropping some bars. She's making some good points. God damn. What a big baby. She's dropping bars, man. I like how they did this. This is so much better a way to do it than give us 3 episodes of training and then proceed with the series. And then they would have to flash back to the relevant things she said anyway. So let's just do the flashbacks and not have the actual training, right? Great writing choice. I thought they were going to do the other way, right? But this was what much better decision because they would have had to flashback anyway. This isn't half-assed anymore. I'm using my whole ass. Not the kitty cat. You didn't even do this. Why are you flashing back to the kitty cat, man? That was your buddy that kicked his ass. I stick my finger in your face, sir. I guess the 20th episode, kind of a little bit of a milestone. Kind of revisit the whole series, which just seems to be what they're doing here. In a way, you know. Yep. That now I'm going to use my whole ass. You stupid bird. Wow, I can't wait for that bird to get vaporized. Get wrecked. Get wrecked. Just show me the bird getting it. I want the bird. I want the bird pelt on the wall. I don't even care about the bad guy. Get the bird. Give me that goddamn whistle. See, that's what happens when I use my whole ass. I thought they got vaporized. What the hell? They keep anime keeps showing people go to white and disappear, but they're still alive. Oh, I believe so. So, it looks like maybe not. Look, boy, I wish I would do some kind of like intermission, something before they go straight to the spoiler shot, right? Because now I know he's on the floor getting his ass kicked again. So, um, you may notice I wasn't surprised when they weren't in the cupboard. It's because I stopped, talked about it. That was my prediction. It was obvious, right? And that'll be coming up next. But before we do that, I just think it's interesting. I was making fun of the guy who's like, "Oh my God, you care about people. Ooh, what? What an inhuman thing to do. Like caring about other people, like besides yourself." But it's the drunk thinks everybody's a drunk. The cheater thinks everybody's a cheater. The liar thinks everybody's lying. And he is the sociopath who cares about nobody, who thinks everybody else should not care about anybody, right? So that's where that's coming from. But I don't know, man. Like, I just don't get the sense he gives a shit about this girl. I've made a few comments about it. Like, we just haven't seen it on screen, right? Early on, in the first 7 episodes, we had, it seemed that's where this was going, right? And so I didn't have a problem with it back then. But since I've come back, starting with episode 8, and here we are at 20, so I've now watched 12 episodes, almost twice as many as that original 7 that I'd watched. And they have had 2 scenes, maybe, together, total. He doesn't ever talk about her. This is the first time he's shown any concern for her, so maybe this is where we start to believe that's what I'm saying. I'm starting to believe he actually gives a shit about her. I hadn't before. He wasn't like, I want to get back to her. I want to spend time with her. He never thinks about her. He never flashes back to spend time with her until just now, right? So I don't know. It kind of took me by surprise that he cared this much. And I mentioned a couple episodes ago a much better victim would have been his mother, because presumably he cares a hell of a lot more about his mother than some girl, right? But maybe not. And again, the demographic would carry that out. Like 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds are going to care more about a prospective dating partner, girl or boy or whatever, rather than a mother or a father, right? Or even a sibling. Sibling probably would even be even better than parents. It's just, it's not a 14-year-old's role to protect their parents, normally. But in a show like this, where he has powers and there are supernatural threats, then this, like, it's not like she's walking down the street and a guy sticks a gun in her face and he wants to steal her purse, right? There's nothing a 14-year-old boy can do about that, a normal one. And that's a normal threat. And she may be able to potentially get her way out of that by herself. A supernatural threat with zombies, there's nothing she can do. And he has the power to protect her. So it's kind of like you take the real life dynamics where there's never a situation where a 14-year-old should have to protect his parents, and you flip it on its head because you give him powers, but you don't want to do anything with that because it's not relatable to your target demographic. The target demographic is never going to relate to somebody having to protect his parents. They will relate to somebody having to protect a girlfriend. You've done that on a schoolyard. A boy who likes girls, and the girl gets somebody shit talking or whatever, even somebody's trying to hassle her, he has come over there and protected her, right? Like, so that's something you can relate to. That happens. This is just an extreme version of that happening. Like, these aren't people hassling her, these are zombies, but it's still relatable. You see what I mean? So I think that's why they chose a girl rather than a mother, even though theoretically he should be way closer to a mother than to a potential girlfriend. But what this episode did do, and a little bit of last episode, was convince me that he definitely has very strong feelings for her, which I was not convinced of before this. So that's kind of interesting. What's interesting about this is, this right here. We're seeing this shot, right? We're seeing the zombies attacking where they are. So earlier, a few scenes earlier, we saw the two girls' faces. We saw their faces, and then it's almost like there's like a camera panning around, showing different things that's happening in the room, right? So we're showing we showed the door where they're breaking in the door from the mirror's perspective. I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the anime. From the mirror's perspective, Yusuke watching the show of his girlfriend's death, right? But we were on their faces, and then all of a sudden we see the zombies come in and go to this thing. Now, assuming the two girls are not in this, because as you watch this, you've already seen the full episode. I haven't. I stopped here, right? This will be very embarrassing if the girls are in there, because then it won't matter. What I'm about to say won't matter. But I don't think they are. They're not that stupid. Also, the scarf would be in front. There's no way you wouldn't see it, right? So that was intentional. So my question is, why didn't the camera catch them not go into that thing? And so Yusuke would know that they're not in there. He thinks they're in there. Clearly, by his reaction we just saw, he thinks they're in there. But the camera was on their faces. So the camera saw everything they were doing in this room. Now, what I'm assuming happened was the camera pivoted over to watch the zombies come in, because this guy apparently can control what we see in the room. And so he has a sense of humor. He wants the drama of the zombies coming through the door. And while the camera was not on the girls, they put the scarf in place and then went somewhere else to hide. I don't know where, but yeah, they went somewhere else to hide. So by the time the camera came back, the camera operator, which I assume is this guy, saw the scarf, assumed they were in the cupboard, and framed his shot, on the cupboard for the zombies to come over when they saw it and to break in, and we would see them drag the girls out and kill them, right? Because he thinks they're in there. So what I'm saying is, it's super lucky for torturing Yusuke that he didn't see the girls' plan. He didn't see what they actually did. He only saw what the guy also, the bad guy also didn't see the plan. So he turned the camera to watch the zombies come in at the exact perfect moment when the girls decided to enact their plan, right? Is what I'm saying. So, plot convenience, definitely, 100%, so that we can surprise the audience and torture Yusuke. So, I don't know. There's no way around that to achieve the effect you want to do. And most people probably won't even think of it. But this is the kind of thing I think of, It's a little meta that this mirror is acting as a camera, moving around, panning around, focusing on the action and all that stuff, because that allows you to trick the camera. And the girls don't even know the camera's there, so they don't know that they're tricking the camera. They just think they're doing the thing, right? So, but it could have easily caught them with their trick, and then he'd be like, "Yeah, look at your stupid ass zombies." But here's the other thing about it: can the bad guy, is he still in connection with the zombies? Did he give them the one-time order, and now he's not in touch with them anymore? Or could he tell them, "Hey, I saw in the mirror that they're not in the cupboard. Go look somewhere else in the room"? Is he in constant contact with them? Is what I'm saying. So he would have to be tricked for this to work. I don't know. It's just something interesting to think about.